Let me start with a quick question. Who here uses navigation apps? Could you please raise your hand? Okay. May I know which one you use? Okay, I'm hearing Google Maps and Waze. Any more? No more? Okay. You're probably wondering, why am I asking you such an ordinary or rather unnecessary question? And no, this is not the part where I try to convince you to switch apps. All take you from point A to point B, and all offer you live traffic updates, ETAs, and route suggestions. But this similarity hides something interesting. Navigation apps don't just tell you where to go. They adapt to what's happening on the road in real time. This includes live reports from drivers ahead, warnings about accidents, and even guidance on exactly which lane to be in. Surprisingly, that last part stuck with me. And I'm not even a driver yet. But watching how navigation apps now guide every micro decision made me realize something. This isn't really about driving skill. When an app tells you exactly which lane to be in before you've had a chance to think, it stops feeling like assistance and starts feeling like rehearsal. Not for better driving, but for not choosing at all. Let's be honest, most of us here haven't memorized directions in years. We rarely wait to watch something, and boredom only shows up when our phone dies. None of that makes us unusual. It makes us typical. Because we've grown up in a world where convenience isn't a luxury anymore. It's the default. And that made me curious. Not about technology itself, but about what happens to us when life is quietly becoming easier. And once you start to look at it that way, you notice something else. Friction disappearing from daily life. Navigation apps tell us when to turn, when to slow down for traffic, and even when to merge lanes. All the tiny decisions we used to wrestle with, gone. Just like that. And to be honest, life feels smoother than ever. Fewer delays, fewer pauses, and increasingly fewer moments where we have to stop and think. But navigation is only the beginning. It's the end of a long day. You get home, open the fridge, only to find out there's nothing in there that counts as a real meal. Naturally, you pull out your phone and open a food delivery app. But instead of asking what you actually feel like eating, you're shown picks for you, most ordered, and recommended. Before you know it, that hunger transitions into an unexpected doom-scrolling session. Because 30 minutes later, you're still there. Not because you're choosing, but because the app keeps offering you the next best option. At some point, you're not even making the decision anymore. You're just approving the choice which has already been made. Individually, these moments barely register. Each one feels too small to resist, too easy to hand over. Which route should I take? What do I feel like eating? They're tiny choices, almost forgettable, but they're everywhere and disappearing quietly. Navigation apps were simply just the first place I noticed it. Before them, a road trip meant paying attention. You noticed landmarks, you remembered turns, and you recognized when something felt unfamiliar. Today, the app doesn't just give you directions. It maps out your entire journey. And when that system fails, many of us don't just feel lost on the map. We feel lost altogether. This isn't about being smart or not. It's about what happens when small decisions disappear often enough to the point we forget how to make them ourselves. This shift seems modern, but it isn't. In fact, it dates all the way back to the 1970s, when sociologist Harry Braverman studied what happened when machines entered industrial workplaces. Braverman noticed that as management introduced automation, skilled workers weren't only replaced, they were separated from judgment. Tasks were broken down, simplified, and embedded into systems. Work had become more efficient, but workers themselves had fewer chances to decide, adapt, or recover from mistakes. So maybe the real trade-off of convenience isn't reliance. Maybe it's something quieter, a silent recalibration of what we expect of ourselves. And the good news is, that kind of change isn't finished. It's still happening, which means we still get to choose which moments we keep doing the hard way. Not because we have to, but because they're shaping us. Before I conclude my talk, let me leave you with one final question. The next time you're on the road, will you be anxiously predicting where the blue line on the map is headed? Or will you look out the window and remember how to find your own way? Because in a world that continually decides for us, choosing to stay aware is how we keep those choices ours. Thank you.